I'm going to keep moving though. So, Mr.
And I wanted to let you know there was some
Hanson,
recent payment on this case.
okay. And is that the one with Miss Payne?
Yes, he made payments and they split between this case and the second case.
Okay. Okay. So, what do we have for November?
For November, he made two payments, one on the 13th and one on the 15th. They total to $144.
Okay. Okay. So, Mr. Anderson, you are okay for October, but what is the plan for getting caught up with November?
I don't know what she has registered. I have on November 17th, there was $100 payment. And I also have on November 14th, there was $100 payment. And I have on November 10th, there was a $200 payment. And I have on October 30th, there was a $600 payment. And I have the receipts from making payments on DCSS.
Okay, now the October one, probably if you didn't pay anything before, that would have probably counted for October. But you do
Yes,
understand that your payments are
yes,
splitting.
yes. And in October, that's what you stated last time. In October, I made the payment of $1,550.
Okay,
So there was two payments in October. Well, in the beginning, October, the 1,550, and then
hmm
October 30th, the last day of October, there was another 600. And
okay, Miss Carson.
I have those right here.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're
Miss
splitting.
Carson.
The payments are splitting. That's what's happening.
Okay. Yeah, that's
So,
she stated that in the first court hearing that they will be splitting because of the if one if there's multiple cases, if I was to get
mhm.
upset with another one, so they split. But I was unaware of that because each one has a case number and I put case numbers on each one. But
Okay. So I guess the question is, Miss Carson, because you reported that you only showed $144 going towards Miss Payne for
So,
November.
so for this case on 11/13, we have $94. On 11/15, we have $50. For his other case on the same dates, for the 13th, we have $40. For the 15th, we have $20. So for the 15th, that would be a total of $70. On the 13th, that would be a total of $134.
So let me just make sure I'm interpreting this correctly. So for Miss Payne's case, are you saying that we received 134, 144, and 70?
No, for Miss Payne, it was a total of 144.
Oh,
$94 on the 13th and $50 on the 15th.
okay.
Mrs. E's is a total of $60.
Hmm. Okay, so the problem, Mr. Anderson, is that you're going to have to increase those payments in order for each mother to get what they have been court
yeah,
ordered to get.
yeah, you explained to me last court hearing, and that's what I said. Since that last court hearing, there was $1,000 paid.
Okay.
And like I said, here's all my receipts
hmm
that I can swipe.
Okay. Okay. No, no, we're not refuting that those were paid.
Okay,
We're just, letting you know that it's not equal to the total amount owed because
they're being
uh
split.
right. Okay. So it's not an issue of child abandonment because you did take care of, the money owed within the past 30 days. However, for the month of November, let's see.
So for the month of November, there was a total of $1,000 that I paid
Well,
out. But
yeah, I can't count it that way because still, for
yeah,
whatever reason, Miss Payne has only received $144 for the month of November. Unless Miss Payne, can you update me? Was there anything else?
No, ma'am, there was nothing else.
so, yeah, so last month out of the what 1,550, she received $513. Well, that was
It's
what's on my notes.
$567 plus $101. So
For
six
October.
68 basically.
For October. And Let me see.
And 144 for
That
November.
was really the only time that he made a substantial payment. And if I'm correct, that was because we had a court date for child abandonment coming up. For the entire year, he's only made that mark twice. And for the entire year, he's only made 6 payments plus whatever was just made in November. But he's only met the mark of my child support twice for the year.
Okay. Now, Mr. Anderson, are you working a job that we can do an income deduction order with?
No, as I stated, I'm just doing. I used to own a car wash, and now Miss Payne owns the car wash location. So I'm kind of like looking for jobs and doing cars here and there when I can get them.
I guess I would like to know how he pays his mortgage and for his new vehicles and all of that. The ownership of the car
vehicles that I can.
If I can speak on the ownership of the car wash, Judge, Your Honor, because it's been brought up twice.
Yeah, he did bring that up last time. I thought we resolved that was some kind of agreement.
Well, no, what happened was he was forced out of the business. It was a business that my mom invested thousands into, and he was fraudulently stealing the money. So it left us in a lot of debt, actually. So I think he's trying to use that to make it seem like I'm unfairly requesting for him to take care of his children. But in fact, I am still paying for all the debt that he ran up and the money that he stole.
Mm-hmm.
On top of taking care of my kids. And Mr. Anderson, he makes a lot of money, but it's just that it's hidden because he doesn't report his taxes. He hasn't done taxes in years. So there's kind of no way for the court so far, other than a subpoena of his personal accounts, to really see the actual amount that he makes. And for child support for years, not just with my case, he has told child support that he's unemployed. So this is new information that's come forth in court now that he is employed, which I knew, but the courts don't know.
And Judge, I'm referring to you. I'm no way stating that the ownership of the car wash is to ensure that I'm not supposed to pay child support. That
okay. Well, the problem is that, you know, it's just not enough to come here with an excuse as to why it hasn't been paid. You need to increase your income so that you can simply pay it. And that way we can move forward from this.
Yes.
So, I mean, do you have a plan to get this taken care of? Because we can't just keep coming back and doing the same thing. At some point, we're just going to have to issue a warrant if we feel that you're not making a significant effort. I mean, you can get another job.
Yes, I have been applying. I'm waiting down. Now it's Christmas season. Hopefully I can get picked up. But like, again, the car wash business is weather-based, and I'm doing what I can do to increase that. I have increased my payments, but they are being dispersed throughout the other cases. But I am doing what I can do. And with the help of family, I am sort of maintaining. But again, for the record, I don't have fancy cars. The car that she seen me in, when she drove by and took a video of me and followed me with my other son and his mom, was actually a friend of mine's vehicle that I was detailing. So she assumed that was my vehicle.
You're
okay.
On.
Okay, I'll let you speak. But honestly, you know, other possessions, all of that is not really relevant. What we need is for Mr. Anderson to begin paying his payments. You know, but go ahead. I allowed him to speak, so I'll allow you to speak.
Thank you, Your Honor, and I'll keep it very short. I was actually at the store with my 3 children, and my oldest could be a witness to that. Mr. Anderson has talked to me for years. I have several police reports. So what he did was he showed up in another vehicle, so I was unaware. Came out that he had parked next to me, but he does that very often. Like I said, I have police reports. I have past TPOs. He stalks me, but now he's saying that I'm stalking him. I did see him in one of the vehicles that he's bought. I mean, a simple background check shows how many vehicles he's bought. You know, I mean, the facts are there. It's just the ability of certain courts to be able to subpoena that information. But
Mhm.
it was, I mean, he's committing perjury right now. Everything he's saying about his income is false. He just
Okay.
hide it.
Now, I believe that, I'm not sure, you can correct Ms. Carson. I don't believe that we have the resources to look into, other funding sources. However, you are always free to hire a private attorney who can do that. And then, you'll be able to move things forward in a different direction that he's not going, to be able to basically perjure himself if they've got all of the paperwork.
Well, he does have, I have a witness that's available right now that can speak on, that's
Mhm.
going through the same thing, that can speak on
Mhm.
his expense of at least 7,000 a month in
Mhm.
income. But we know that he makes more than that. So it's just a matter of what benefits him.
Mhm.
If that person is able to speak, they can also attest.
Mhm.
Even with that, for somebody who doesn't have much income and who's working and barely making ends meet, for the past at least 2 years, he's spent thousands of dollars on attorney fees, but he refuses to pay
Mhm.
for it. He will only invest in a situation that is going to benefit him. So let's say that we're in court, that's when he'll start making a payment so that it can kind of be brushed to the side, and then he goes
Mhm.
the same thing. Or if he
Okay. Well, and the court understands that. That's why I do keep a lot of these cases open for so long. Is that I'm trying to get these parents to start making regular payments. What I'm going to say in your situation, Mr. Anderson, is that, I realize that, detailing cars is what you like to do, but you need to get yourself a 9 to 5 job that is going to give you reliable income that we can either do an income deduction order out of, or if you choose to do the detailing, you've got to make sure that it is enough to take care of your responsibilities. Because honestly, I don't know if there's additional cases, but the 2 cases that I have for you, let's see, 621 and some odd cents of child support. That's not a lot of money for a month of working. You should be able to put that towards your child support each and every month and still be able to live a decent life. Because my experience with car detailing is that you're probably getting around $200 per car at a minimum. And, that's just 3 vehicles over the course of a month. So I don't see why, even in the off season, there are a lot of people out here that take great care, better care in the winter months than in the summer months. So
Yes, ma'am.
it definitely is doable. So I want to see that you're doing it by the next time we have our next court hearing, because I don't want, I know that time is money. This is time that you could be doing a vehicle rather than being on this court hearing right now. So
Yes,
we
ma'am.
need to move forward in the right direction. So I am going to reset for Miss Lanier. What is my second calendar in December? I do like to make sure that children get a decent Christmas, if nothing else. So I'd like to see that you can get that money paid. What's my the third Friday in December?
It's December the 15th.
Okay, 12/15. I'm going to expect to see both of you on 12/15 so that we can get things moved in the right direction. Okay.
Okay.
And at this point, I'm going to dismiss Miss Payne, but I'm going to have you stay, Mr. Anderson, and I need Sarah, Miss Aziz. Okay. Okay. So with regards to this case, same thing. We did get 2 payments in October, and then I think Miss Carson, you said there was a $60 payment in November?
The total is 60. On 1113, $40, and on 1115, $20.
Okay. Okay, and you have a low child support amount in this case of $180. So, you really don't have a lot that needs to be paid to keep this current. Um, what is the plan in this situation, Mr. Anderson?
As you said before, ma'am, just continue to seek a regular 9 to 5. I can try to get things caught up and get back on track, and also get on my feet as well.
Okay, let me just update Ms. Aziz. Ms. Aziz, I have spoken to Mr. Anderson relating to a different case, but what we decided was a reset for the 15th of December. I made it clear to him that, if the business that he's in is not supporting these children, then he does need to get a second job, because this is not working. And your child support amount is relatively low, and it appears that the arrearages in your case have really they're pretty high for the amount. So child support definitely has to become more consistent. Did you at least receive the $60?
Yes, ma'am. I received the $61.36. Can I speak to
yes.
Okay. Okay, so we've had our order in since 2014. And back then he said that he was unemployed as well, and that's why it was only $180 to begin with. And I've never went back for a modification, which I probably should have, but I haven't. So here I am. My daughter's 14. She's, about to go into high school, and talks of having a car and going to college. And I'm realizing that she is owed that money at this point. And Mr. Anderson has not helped at all. As you can see, since that order has been in, there's never been 1 year to where he constantly paid. It's always been inconsistent. I mean, there's $14 payments at one point, $20 payments at another point. And it seems that the only time there is some consistency is when it does get this far. And it's just, waste of time and resources when he could be out working or trying to do.
That's the conclusion that I came to as well. And I know that he prefers to do the type of work that he wants to, but I told him that I know that detailing cars pays quite a bit. It's not something that...
He admitted to having a job?
Oh, yes. Yes, he's not saying unemployed.
Okay.
But, but the problem is that the amounts that you're getting just are just not going to make it. I don't want to put him in jail because he is providing something. However, this is over long periods of time. This just isn't going to work. And I know that, some people think, oh, it's all going to go away. But you need to understand, Mr. Anderson, when these children reach 18, you're still obligated to pay this money. It's not going to just disappear. So it's better for your children if you pay it now, when it will be the most benefit for them while they're in the household, and it can help to enrich their lives. So we need to get this money moved forward at this point, sooner rather than later. So do you understand that, Mr. Anderson?
Yes,
okay. So
that's why I've increased my, like I said, last month's payments, but they're getting dispersed. Like I said, I made the $1,550 last month, and I made $1,000 so far this month. But being that it is getting dispersed, it does seem like
I'm not understanding that, because $1,000, if you made it this month, should have been more than enough to take care of both of these obligations.
Exactly. And like I said, I have them, as I can show you. If I can just hold
I
up.
really can't see them through there. You would have to go, if there's any type of issue, you'd have to resolve it with child support. But I think Ms. Carson is able to see what's paid, and it's still
Your Honor, if
He
you
made.
add them up, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about all of the payments that are made and add them all up.
Oh, so it's not $1,500 last month and
Yeah,
then $1,000 this month.
last month was 1,550, and Miss Payne received $513 out of that 1,550, and then the rest went to everybody else, as she explained. But I did put her case number on there. But you did state that they even though I put a case number on there,
right? It's going to be it's apportioned by child support. You don't really have any control over that. And you have to understand from the court's perspective, we treat every child the same. We can't, prefer one over another.
I understand.
Okay. So on the 15th, I'm going to ask that, you handle this case as well. So I'm going to ask Mrs. East to be present as well, but you're going to have to get another job. That's the only way this is going to work. And if you consistently come back and say the same thing, I'm going to have no choice but to do an incarceration and move this matter on. And so I just want you to understand that.
Your Honor, could I clarify something? I thought that Mr. Anderson said he was looking for a job and he just does some detailing on the side. But then you mentioned to Mrs. Iza, he said he had a job. I'm not clear whether he has a job or still just looking and doing work on the side.
I believe the job that he's referring to is the self-employment job.
And that
is that the job that you work right now?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Mrs. East, I can hear you.
And that detailing makes a substantial amount, Your Honor. It's not just like some side hustle or side gig he's trying to portray.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, Mr. Anderson, you might need to rethink about the way you apportion this money because, an incarceration stint can make you lose all of this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If I can add, I know everybody said car detailing is substantial. If you're only one person and you're going to try to find people, that takes a lot of time in the day. It's only a certain amount of work hours in the day. So you're only doing a certain amount of cars versus Miss Payne. She has a location where cars overflow and come into a location. Me, I have to navigate through Atlanta traffic and try to get to places. So in car detailing, you can make a substantial.
But usually I found that when you do car detailing, you have consistent clients who come back to you over and over and over again. It shouldn't be a situation where you're reinventing the wheel every month. If you're good at what you're doing, they're going to be looking for you. It's just a matter of navigating the times for your availability.
Or large contracts too, Your Honor.
Okay, so I think you know how to run that business successfully, Mr. Anderson. So I'm going to depend on you to take care of that so that on the 15th, I want to hear that, these children are going to have a great Christmas because you're all caught up and there's nothing more that we need to talk about because I'm hoping that I can dismiss this. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, then.
Thank you so much.
Okay, then. And you're welcome. And have a good weekend for everyone. So what I'm seeing in this case is that the last payment received, although it was a large amount, it was back in May, and there's been nothing since then. So can you tell me what's going on?
We did receive a payment on 11/15 of $251. Also, I'd like to let Carr know that his license will suspend as of tomorrow.
Okay, so what I got to do to fix my license being suspended, facing the facts that I am making a payment? I mean,
go into the office and prove you have a job that they can take the money from, or come in with some payment and work something out.
Because there's no way. I mean, I start working for Thomas Concrete at the beginning of the year to get my CDLs. And that's finna be over with because can't get no CDLs on the license.
Yeah, you need to go into the office and talk to them
Right.
about it.
Yeah, you have to work it out with them. We can't work it out for you here, but you can go in there and work it out with child support. And I'd suggest that you do that today so that you don't have any mishaps happen with that driver's license. Okay, Ms. Davenport, did you receive those monies, or is that
I haven't yet. I have not yet.
Okay. But we are showing them in that money in the system. It's a little short, but I would consider that a significant amount, so that I can't consider this to be abandonment at this point. And what I'm inclined to do is reset this matter as well for December the 15th, so that we can make sure that things are moving in the right direction. Please unmute and respond.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So, Mr. Davis, are you working?
Yes, ma'am. I'm working at UPS. I just got a job.
Okay. So, UPS, we can definitely do an income deduction order with. So,
they've already done it.
Oh, okay. So you show that information in the system, Ms. Carson?
We'll check that, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Davis, you understand that until everything kicks in, you've got a responsibility to make the payments, directly to child support. Have you been making any payments?
May I add one thing?
Sure.
Oh, yes, ma'am. These last 3 years been really tough for me. I was fighting like an armed robbery charge, and they just gave me my disposition a month ago in October, and they had dropped it down to robbery, first degree. So I did the first offense on the robbery charge. So right now I'm able to get position now. So I was able to get in the first offender program and probation and everything. I still got the ankle monitor on right now. So I've been on the ankle monitor like 3 years, so I couldn't really get a position. But right now, they just handled my case in October in Superior Court, Fulton County. So they dropped it down to a robbery charge. So I do first offense, and I think I gotta do a year or something, and I gotta do 10 years probation, and I gotta do customer service, like a year worth of community service. Yes, ma'am. But
well,
right
it
now,
sounds like things
supervisor.
are working out for you, and honestly, $4,000 worth of arrearages is not so bad considering all that you've been through. So
my son's 16 years old too. He's 16 years old.
Okay, so
$4,000, I can catch up.
Absolutely, and your child support amount is only $250 about. So there's really no reason why you can't get this taken care of every month. So
quick question.
Can you go ahead?
Also, like when he went back to school, I bought him school clothes. I pay his phone bill. I pay his phone bill still. Like I've been paying his phone bill for like 10 years now. Like
now you heard me say in my spiel that when you
I was just adding that. I know that's gifts. But me, I try to be there for him, and then I'm gonna pay child support because that's my responsibility. That's not his responsibility.
Of course.
My job is to be his dad. So he called me for game cards, for food. You want to go to food,
and that's good. We encourage that. I mean, and Miss Williamson is just trying to take care of your child too. That's all she's doing. Miss Williamson, were you trying to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I get what he's saying. He's going through the court about his case and everything, but and still, even though he's going through all of that, he's still maintaining. He can maintain a condo at the W downtown, a Mercedes-Benz truck, a Scat Pack. He has several degrees. He's got 2 houses that he rent rooms to people. He's making money on a continuous basis. He can pay his child support if he want to. So all of that about you going through this and that, that's an excuse. Like that's not.
Well, doesn't really work with the court. No matter what, you know, we have an amount that we have determined he needs to pay for that child, and you need to pay it. And I'm going to put this case back on. What, Miss Lanier, what is my first Friday in December?
Muted. December the 1st.
December the 1st. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to put you back on for December the 1st. And at that time, you know, I want to see that you have taken care of that payment for November, and, you know, and put you on notice that we need to see that payment for December. Now, the best thing you could do is pay both of them, because that would definitely make your child's Christmas better if they could have, you know, if mom could have that money in advance. So I'm going to have both of you come back on December the 1st, okay? But you're going to have, until you see that money coming out of your paycheck, you need to pay it through child support, okay?
And I did confirm the job amount of federal income withholding was sent on the 8th of this month.
Okay, good. Then timing should work out. Okay, so like I was saying, Mr. Davis, you know, if you see that no money is being taken out towards child support, just go ahead and take care of that. It's not like it's going to go to waste. All it's going to do, if you end up double paying, it's just going to take down your arrearage by that amount. It's not going to be a problem. Okay?
No problem.
Okay, then. Okay, then I'm going to dismiss both of you so that you can return on the 1st. Okay, Miss Williamson, did you say something?
Yes, Miss Scott. I wanted to ask, so I have to go to Superior Court to get my arrearage?
Yes. Yes. Okay. I mean, you already have a portion going towards arrearage right now. There's $42 that is added on to his $213 going towards arrearage. But if you feel that you can present evidence that he can pay it at a faster rate, then yeah, you are free to go to Superior Court to, you know, change that. Okay?
Miss Williamson, you can contact the child support office and ask them to do a contempt for you if they're not already doing that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, then. Okay, then. So is there a reason, while we're waiting for Miss Green, is there a reason that you're not making your child support payments? It looks like this is a rather new order.
Yes, it is, ma'am. I've just been going through some really tough financial times. I also have 5 other kids with 3 different women, you know, so I've just, for the past 2 years, I had a serious motorcycle accident. I was down for 7 months, was rebuilding, trying to get myself back together. I'm self-employed. I have a small business, so I don't work for anyone in particular. So I was down for 7 months. I started trying to get myself back together. My sister passed last August. I was down for, I was out of work for maybe about 2 or 3 months, ma'am. I've just been really under financially. And as I said, I have 5 other kids with 3 other women. I've just been trying to do my best. Are
any of those other cases through child support?
No, ma'am. I've never had a child support.
So yeah, so you really only have this one as an obligation that you have to do every month. So right now your arrearage is just going to continue piling up. Oh, hi, Miss Green. We couldn't find you there for a moment. Okay. So Miss Green, I only show that there's been $246 paid this year in June. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So, you know, so Mr. Greenidge, you're going to have to, I understand that you've been going through a lot, but this really is not a lot of child support. And considering that this is the only one that you have as an obligation through the court, I mean, you can understand things would be a totally different story if you had a lot of other, you know, responsibilities with these other mothers. So, you know, you really need to get this current so that you do not have to be at risk all the time of having to come to court or losing your driver's license. you know, this really is not a large obligation at all. So tell me what the plan is for getting this on track.
I'm definitely going to try to get it on track. One other issue that I had was I have never been able to sign into the app. I went to the office. They gave me an IRN number. They told me what to do. Up to this day, I still can't sign in. When I put in my information, it's saying that I cannot be found. I'm not able to pay through the kiosk or the or online because I can't get in there. So that's
Mr.
why that pay.
It may have something to do with the fact that we had your name spelled wrong. They put an R in there, so that it was Green Ridge.
Okay, I'm gonna try that because I've tried it multiple times. I even
I've corrected that, but it may take some time. I think it takes at least 24 hours before it updates the system.
Okay, I'm gonna try it both ways and see if I can get in there. But that also was one issue that I was having when it came to seeing what's going on.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put you back on for December the 1st so that we can see whether that is an issue or not. That would be a terrible reason for someone not to get child support. So I want to make sure that we can get that resolved quickly and efficiently. So I do expect you to go ahead and get caught up for the month of November.
Right, because he could always mail it in, Your Honor. He could always mail it.
That's how I did that payment of the $267. I mailed it in.
Okay then. So yeah, let's start getting caught up so that you know, we don't have additional, you know, what happens to a lot of people is they're going through hard times and you know, things are rough and they just stop paying on everything. Well, then you end up, in addition to you know, what you're already going through, then you end up having your driver's license suspended and things begin compounding on top of one another, and your situation, you know, at some point just gets unmanageable. So what I'm trying to prevent is from you letting things get to that point. So let's get back on track, start paying that child support, and let's see if we can get things turned around. Okay.
I understand.
So I'm looking first for that payment for November, and then we can look at the months moving forward.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to sign in again. If it doesn't sign in, I'll have to mail that payment in.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You know, we'll take care of it from there. Okay, so I'm gonna see both of you on the 1st. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say, Ms. Green?
So we're going to be meeting again on December 1st, and he needs to have everything paid up until that time, or just the November payment?
Just the November. I cannot go after the arrearages, but I don't want it to get lost in the process, because technically at the time that you filed that case, then that November should be part of this. I don't want it to fall into arrearage.
Is he not required to pay what he was he supposed to owe already from June?
Oh, of course he is. That's why it is in your arrearage amount that has already accumulated of $1,178. It's just that once it falls into arrearage, then you have to go through Superior Court. I can only take care of current support.
So the minimum payment is going to be what for November? The $440?
The $440, that is correct.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, then. Both of you enjoy your weekends, and I'll see you here on the 1st. Okay.
Get through on my that
was not Mr. Hicks. So have you heard from Mr. Hicks?
The only thing I heard was that he have a warrant with the other court for child support, and that they came looking for him. That was the only thing I heard. But he left, so they don't have him.
Okay, because yeah, it looks as if he has accumulated a substantial amount of arrearage here. And to your knowledge, Ms. Carson, are the addresses correct? Actually, yeah, if you could give Ms. Carson the last known address that you have for him in the chat.
Okay.
Let's just make sure that the information is the same, but I take it that if the county that started the case, if they're not able to find him,
they
probably
he came to the house. They came to the correct address. He was
they
there,
did,
but he left. Yeah.
but he's avoiding.
Yep.
Okay, so if that's the case, I'm just going to go ahead and set this down for a warrant. Let's see. Okay, so Ms. Searles, are you able to come in and sign that warrant?
Yes, I'll come.
Okay. If you could make arrangements to do that, we'll just go ahead and move forward unless you have something else, Ms. Carson, anything on this case that I should know?
I can look and see if there's anything going on in here. A call from him wanting to get his IRN. They gave him that information. And then on 10/20, I made notes that she filed an abandonment. The case was heard before Judge Scott, both parents present, said he was on parole and homeless. He tried to get in fatherhood, but he was rejected because present legal action. The judge told him his driver's license was suspended, so get a non-driving job. Abandonment court clerk provided the same address we have on our file.
Okay. Okay. Well, my hands are tied. We're just going to go ahead with the warrant. Okay.
If he is on parole, that will be probably probation. He'll be revoked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think that was a part of his parole. He was supposed to comply with child support as a part of his release on parole.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to just move things forward. Not much else we can do. So good luck to you, Ms. Searles. Hopefully we'll be able to get this turned around, but it would be in state court next. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Scott.
I am showing that Mr. Johnson just made a sizable payment. Did you receive that? It's very recent.
The reverse, Your Honor.
No, I'm sorry, Ms. Huffman. Did you receive a child support payment from Mr. Johnson recently?
No.
No? Okay, because we do show that a payment of $1,487 was made on the 2nd. Actually, that was enough time. Are you showing any problems with that, Ms. Carson?
It might be. It was an interception, so Mr. Johnson might not have received it yet.
I did receive a payment on the 4th of October for $54.49.
Okay.
That is the first payment ever.
Okay, in October. Okay, that's true. But we have an intercepted payment of $1,487.09 on 11/2. But depending on the interception, you may not have that yet. Let me look and see what I can find out here.
And I'm sorry, I just realized what you were saying when you said I had it reversed. I thought you were telling me I had the names reversed. I have the parties reversed. I'm sorry.
I know we're so used to the other way around.
It's the opposite.
To get around. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a while before those funds come to you, Mr. Johnson.
Oh, is this like a tax intercept?
That I'm not supposed to say. Yes.
Okay. 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 So, well, the question that I have is, are we employed at this point, Ms. Huffman?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a reason why we can't do an income deduction order for your current employer?
Well, he's gotten, to my knowledge, it was upstate, and I travel for work, so I'm not at one standard place.
So, but do you get a paycheck that goes through, just a regular paycheck that goes through a W-2 form at the end of the year?
Yes, but it's from different locations. It's not from the same location.
Oh, I don't think that matters, does it, Ms. Carson?
Well, we have an employer, but if she's working as a subcontractor for several different employers, that may be what's going on. I mean, there's no income deduction sent on the job that is showing on our system.
Well, Ms. Huffman, let's try it. Why don't you go ahead and submit your employer information to Ms. Carson? That way, because at this point you're not terribly behind in arrearages. You've got a rather low child support payment amount, so I'd hate to see things get out of hand.
Okay.
So why don't you go on into the chat and give your employer information directly to Ms. Carson, and let's see if we can move forward in that fashion.
I just sent her a chat so she'll know where to respond.
Okay. And Mr. Johnson, a payment made. It's just that it's just not showing up. And if I were to, when I look at it this way, Ms. Carson, would that amount would it take care of the arrearage, or is that not taking the arrearage into consideration?
Look here. Don't.
And also, may I speak?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Another reason is because he had me on child support in Alabama and Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the problem was we were in Alabama and moved to Georgia, and Georgia is now handling the processing of the child support. It was something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My knowledge, I'm still being docked in Alabama, though. I'm still being charged in Alabama for child support.
Was there an arrearage there?
Yes.
Yes. But everything has now transferred to Georgia's arrearment. There's no payments being made in Alabama. There has not been any payments made.
So it will
Is that what you're showing?
It will be months before Mr. Johnson sees any of that money. It takes about 3 to 6 months, depending. And it should take care of the arrearage. But if there are no more payments, obviously it will not take care of future arrears.
Yeah, so it goes to Alabama, and then Alabama forwards it to Georgia. So that's how it was explained to me. That's why it takes so long.
Okay. So Ms. Huffman, at the very least, go ahead and start making regular payments of that $292. There is $100 going towards the arrearage, but that may not be necessary at this point, depending on how things settle out. So at the very minimum, take care of that $292 so that we can keep things on track. Okay?
Okay.
I don't have anything yet in the chat from her.
Oh, so Ms. Huffman, can you put your current employer information in the chat?
Looks like on 8/18 they sent something that they found an employer and sent it to the other state, which I guess is Alabama, to begin wage withholding. That was 8/18.
I go to a different place 13 weeks at a time. Sometimes it's extended.
So it's a contract that you have with them?
Yes.
All right, I found it. Do you do nursing for them?
Yes. Surgical tech.
Okay.
What is the total arrearage?
The total arrearage that I'm showing right now is $1,061.42.
Okay.
The amount of the last payment that we have you have not received to date is $1,487.09. But I know we're going to need to do a reset. So what I'm going to do is put this because I know it's going to take a minute because it's a little complicated. I'm going to put it down for the first Friday in January. Ms. Lanier, can you?
January the 5th.
January the 5th.
Yes, ma'am.
Is going to be the reset date. And at that time, Ms. Huffman, I do want to see that you have made your payments for, well, I know that. Let's go ahead and get the payment in for November and December. Okay. So Mr. Maddox, I'm showing that we have received a payment for $362 back in September, but there hasn't been anything since then. So what is going on?
Just Judge is basically like I just don't make enough. I'm working with DCSS right now to they're about to help me, with the father program and get in and get involved. And I saw them last week, and that's our course of action right now. And then they sent me something in the mail just yesterday, trying to talk about a payment plan to adding $81 on every month to what I already pay to get caught up. But I mean, with getting my son, and between getting my son, my bills and utilities, I wouldn't even be able to. I don't even know where it would come from. Just my rent, everything. Without me getting behind on those things or putting in jeopardy losing those things, such as my apartment and everything like that. So,
well, child support is calculated based on what the average person, in your situation, is able to make. $381 is a very low child support amount. So, the court has already given every concession that is possible with regards to your situation. Have you considered getting a second job?
If I get a second job, then that means I don't get my children. That means I'm just basically working just to pay that, and I don't see them at all. And she's in residency. I get, our agreement is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, every other weekend. So, taking on taking on a nighttime job just basically puts all the responsibility back on her. She has to go pick him up from daycare, do all these things. And, I'm just working to pay that and not really seeing my children. And, I don't know. We've just been, like I say, I have them all the time. Like even right now, she's going in residency and all that. I don't really have, it's just me. So, if I'm working a second job, where does he go now? What is he, what are we doing now? She can't take him to Chicago with her while she's in residency and all these other things. So, like that just, it doesn't work.
So what is your arrangement? Who's the custodial parent?
I am.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, so I take it this was an agreement amongst the two of you that that he's taking care of the. Well, first of all, Ms. Swain, how much of the time does he have the child?
He gets him Mondays, Wednesdays, every other weekend. He has him right now, so I'm in residency. I've been here since Wednesday. I don't complete residency until Monday. So in situations, collaborate in terms of splitting that time, or my family or his family will try to chime in while I'm in school. However, I have encouraged Malcolm to apply for new jobs, to, try to see better ways of income, because when it comes to financial, that's me 100%. That also forces, I do obviously make more than him, but I'm still having to make sure that I'm financially present for our son. And I have my bills too, I have my necessities and all these things too. We've been discussing it, but I've been encouraging this even while I was pregnant. And there have been some efforts, but there, what he's been trying to do, it's not available because of just like some driver's history. But, I've been encouraging him, dedicate the free time you have. You can play video games for 6 hours straight. You can be revamping your resume. You can be create opportunities for yourself. And so, again, I can understand, but again, it still falls back on me financially. And that's just where we are.
Okay. And I have to say, both of you might have to do some give and take, because he may not be able to do as much childcare and also do the amount that he's ordered to pay. But Mr. Maddox, right now, from the court's perspective, the payment is the priority. So, you're going to have to kind of resolve that, and make sure. And it sounds like everything that we're talking about is probably going to be temporary until we move on to the next phase in life. So you have to look at it that way, and you might need to make some sacrifices so that, your children can have a better future. So,
And so I hear where she's coming from with everything, like, but it, like with me, well, this is what I've been saying is, you're responsible for your home. And if we're splitting the time with the child, and I'm responsible for my home with no support, and you're responsible for your home with no support, then I'm not really, understanding all of this. Because, giving you this money and we're splitting the time and, the effort and everything that, now I'm losing out of my home. And when it comes to my home, we're short on food, or we're short, or, my lights are off because, I understand, like, but I also need that to be an understanding that if I go do a second job, that I don't need to be hassled and or complained to about, my time now, because this is where we are now at with it, and so that's just what always, the discord or things come up, and then it's like, oh, well, you're not getting him, and I have to work and I have to do all this myself too. But now, like you're saying, paying her is the priority. So now when I am going to take that time to step back and start working and finding another job or finding a second job or anything like that, it just, I just don't need to be harassed and or hassled about it, because this is where we're at now.
Yeah, it's not a matter of harassment, because I do think that we communicate very well in the sense of Masai being available whenever you wanted to see him, But again, part of that is we're all the host of our own inconveniences, so I still have to work as well, and it's a matter of parenting. It's about making sacrifices, but that's just where we are, and the reason that we're even in relation with child support in the first place. It's not a matter of working, but it just becomes a dispute when it comes to supporting him financially. And, try to explain that in the sense of parenting just not being limited to playtime or us agreeing on certain days. It's not just a matter of, because he wants to see his son. If that wasn't a hassle, these days it's easy, and still have times where we're parenting him together outside of that, but in terms of finances, there are opportunities that have been missed, and it just wasn't taken seriously. Again, there are sacrifices that I have to make, even in terms of making more income, because I don't have the support. It really all falls back onto me. And, that understanding of, well, that great schedule where you're allowed to work more, and then that puts more time with me with the child versus if I want to work more, I don't have that option.
Well, okay, but I guess the first thing I need to explain is that we cannot negotiate the child visitation time.
Right.
We can only deal with the support. So all I can tell Mr. Maddox is that you need to get your child support paid. And Ms. Swain, if that means at the sacrifice of, you having to find alternate care for the child, then you have to find alternate care, because you're the custodial parent. You're the one that's going to fall back on. So, so in terms of Mr. Maddox, you just are going to have to prioritize the child support. I'm not used to, there being this much back and forth. Usually it's every other weekend from Saturday at 6 p.m. until Sunday at 6 p.m. And then you're going to have to spend the rest of your time working to make sure that you stay current with child support. So
that's not, that ain't the father that's not the father that I'm proud to be.
My concern is that when there was time, you know, let's just say where he may have wanted to work weekends or he hadn't seen my side for a month, I still didn't receive anything. You know, so that sacrifice has been provided, but there has still been no payment for child support.
Okay.
It hasn't
Okay.
been. Maybe
Okay.
So it was just me walking away.
Okay, so Mr. Maddox, the way I have to leave this is that you got to make sure that that child support is paid. You know, you can, you know, of course, we want you to spend time with your child. And I know that that's something that you want as well. But you got to make the child support the priority. And, you know, the court just has no ability to micromanage every aspect of this.
No.
You know, we can't provide you with a job that only has you work on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So, you know, you two are going to have to manage the rest of it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to set you down for a reset for the 15th of December. And you need to get caught up with that child support. I need to see a payment for November. And then, you know, you're going to have to start thinking about what you're going to be doing for December. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
For the 15th, do I need to be present for that court date?
I'll put down in my notes that you need not be present.
Okay. Malcolm, can you put it in your calendar?
Yeah.
Or do you do a calendar invite so you don't forget?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Okay, and so, Mr. Maddox, I do expect you to be present and, you know, and hopefully we'll have made that payment. Okay, so we don't have to keep you very long. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, then. I'm going to dismiss you and hopefully we'll be able to give this child a great Christmas. So let's get that child support caught up on. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. 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 So, first of all, well, actually, child support, I'm a little confused. Is this?
It looks
has
like
there
Gwinnett,
never been one payment?
well, it looks like Gwinnett County just did a temporary order, and no, there have been no payments. They have a hearing to finalize everything on November 29.
Okay, so Mr. Watkins, is there a reason why you're not making any kind of effort towards child support?
I'm not working right now, ma'am. I have Crohn's disease, and it's been kept me out of work for the last year, pretty much. But also, I just found out about this child support order this past Wednesday. The address that they have for me, that's not where I live. So I just found out about it. I gave Gwinnett County a call yesterday. They told me everything that was going on. And I have no problem trying to get ready and pay for it. I just didn't know about it. And plus, I'm not working.
Okay, so now you understand that, you know, child support, you got a low child support amount. That's basically based on minimum wage. So we do expect you to go ahead and get a job. Might not be the type of work that you want to do, but at this point, the child needs support. So that's, you know, an expectation. Have you updated? You said you did update the court with your current address?
No, ma'am. Pretty much I called Gwinnett County to pretty much find out what was going on. And just like I'm not sure who that was just speaking, they told me that nothing's been finalized or anything like that. So you know,
Well,
they told me. Go ahead.
They have entered an amount for you of $250 per month. So that is the amount that you are expected to pay.
Yes, ma'am. Again, I have no problem paying for it. Again, I just didn't know about it. Me and her mother have not been in contact with each other. Again, but I have, that's neither here or there. I have no problem paying for the child support at all.
Okay.
Again, I just found out about it. I can have that whole balance paid by next Friday.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Again, you will have a court hearing on the 29th. So you are aware of that one, right?
That's what they told me, but they said somebody has to serve me or something like that. I'm not sure on what's going on, man, to be honest with you. But they told me somebody has to serve me. But they told me when I called them, they did say that I have a court date or a hearing on the 29th of this month.
Okay, Mr. Maddox, they must have served you somehow, otherwise they wouldn't have the authority to do a temporary order. But you are aware of the hearing, though. Okay.
Well, my name is Watkins, Mr. Dion Watkins. But
sorry, I pulled up the wrong one.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Being honest with you, ma'am, I have not been served with anything. Again, I went to my mother's house this past Wednesday, found out about this mail. It was one piece of mail saying that I had child support pretty much set up. Another piece saying that I owed $500. The next piece saying that I had a hearing with DeKalb County for child abandonment. So I'm not sure about any of these things that's going on. But again, I'm not here to make no excuses or anything like that. I have no problem paying for the child support.
So the Gwinnett office has an order, a temporary order right now. I believe that is a temporary order. And then they have a hearing on 11/29. So that's when everything will get finalized. But I've also sent you a chat. If you could let me know what the correct address is, I can update it in the system so I can make sure.
I would like to keep the address the same. Again, I wasn't expecting any mail or anything like that, but now that I know, I'll be looking for the mail.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to count this as you acknowledging service, because you do know, you are aware now that
of the court date on the 29th.
Hearings. Correct. And if you need any further information, you are free to call Gwinnett County to get that information. But you are expected to be present, and we are expecting you to, go ahead and make these child support payments as previously ordered. Your next hearing date, I'm going to make sure that it's after the 29th so that there's no confusion. It's going to be January the 5th, 2024. And at that time, I'll be checking to make sure that the payments have been made, the 750 arrears, as well as the $250 of current support. I'll be looking to see whether all of that has been taken care of by January the 5th. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Am I able to get some in the mail to confirm that court date?
If the address that you just told me you didn't want to change is correct.
Yep, that's fine. That address is perfectly fine.
Tell me what address that is. Can you respond to me in the chat? Because I can't know whether the address we have is the address you want.
Yes, ma'am. Give me 1 second.
And Mr. Watkins, if you are putting the Snellville address down, you will be receiving the future court date for January the 5th from the courts.
Okay.
Okay.
I just sent it to you.
I got it. All right. That's what we have in the system, so that's where it will go. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay, then I'm going to dismiss both of you, and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Oh, and Ms. Price, I didn't ask you. Do you have anything that you wanted to say?
No, ma'am. All of the concerns have been stated right here. So I'll just be looking forward to the 5th of January, and we will go from there. All right.
Okay,
thank
then.
you.
Okay.
Hey,
Have
not
a
as
great
crazy
weekend.
today.
Bye-bye. Not as crazy, but a little, I don't know.